guys, Adventurer, and do you remember A Link to the Past? You know, the praised Zelda game of all time? Me personally, I like all the 3D Zeldas more. And now that I have peed off all the 2D Zelda fans, let's talk about a Zelda level that pays tribute to the game. Eastern Temple, the third dungeon in the Light World. In case you didn't know, but in the game, Link travels through the Light World, which is what we're accustomed to, if it was in real life, and then a mysterious bad and evil version of our world called the Dark World. Why Eastern Temple, you may ask? That's a good question. I actually thought the dungeon was called Eastern Temple, but it's actually called Eastern Palace. Oopsie daisy. Let's all just pretend I named it correctly. So, as usual, I look up someone on YouTube playing through the original level, and I follow behind, building the atmosphere. So this dungeon has a lot of floors. The way I did it was, Link would run around as if it's one big tunnel full of enemies. The opening above, that is the ceiling in the Bullet Bill's room, which is the iconic room in Eastern Palace where cannonballs shoot from out of the wall. That opening in the ceiling I made use of to continue the size of the dungeon, because as we know, Mario Maker only gives you so much distance to work with. The way I saw the playthrough was the player was running through the dungeon, which I'm assuming was the quickest possible way, was by running from each room to each room for keys that gets him closer to the boss key. Then he ran back to the beginning to look for the boss room. I had this set up perfectly with the long tunnels that travel down as if a river can easily glide down and fill the dungeon up with water. So now after the player has traveled through the entire bottom route of the dungeon, defeating enemies in their way, they have access to a switch and a key. This door I made specifically for my level, for this was never in A Link to the Past. This was more like a shortcut to emphasize the goal, which is the switch at the end of the tunnel. Take this shortcut and I'll give you access to the attic. So here, a lot of the puzzles in Zelda was bad guys with a hidden key that gave you entry to the next room. I just made them switches. This was another part of the remake that isn't completely accurate, but made it easier for me to make and also fun for the casual gamer to hack and slash their way through the stage. Now, for the infamous room of the whole level, the Silver Pits. I call this the Silver Pits because it is a room filled with spike traps and only a small space in between them to move along while flying baddies are in shooting range. Now, this is a simple but challenging platforming room, but that's not even the hard part. The hardest part of the room is trying to exit the Silver Pits into the next room. I made the exit a very small opening with the ceiling coming in a bit too low with the spike traps inches from the ceiling. Letting my boys play through this level was hilarious, because after they would travel through the whole middle ground and basin of the dungeon to just screw up once and restart, it was just so funny. Yes, I know. I'm a jerk. Partially a jerk, because one more add-on was made to this level that wasn't from Zelda ALTTP. A breakable block that lets you skip the top and middle tunnels straight to the basement. So there you go, now we're even. Now we're even now. Anyways, to exit the spike pits unharmed is to do a full hop, and at the peak of your hop, lean into the exit, right? You want to lean into the door. Don't jump at the door. You'll barely touch the spike trap and miss your head hitting the ceiling. The next room is the iconic cannonball room from A Link to the Past. I'm pretty proud of recreating this segment. Just like in the main hub of the palace, the bullet bills acted as the cannonballs. So in the last puzzle area are the bullet bills shooting from every angle, just like from the SNES Zelda game. Lastly is the boss. You may or may have not noticed, but this time around, the boss battle tradition I would add is the eerie stair climb before the boss is missing, because I probably forgot at the time. Finally, the boss are the giant knights that can only be killed with the arrows. The most accurate recreation I can make of this is to have a track with giant Paracoopas flying across it, and the only way to kill them safely is to shoot each and every one. Acquire the key from the boss, then jump across. That is all for the showcase today. Thank you for watching the showcase. If you want to try the level for yourself, the level ID, my Twitter, and a link to my Discord are all in the description down below. Thanks for watching.